Now that brings us to transaction E. This is where we paid a lot of bills. We paid 4 different bills: wages, rent, utilities, and miscellaneous. So I spent money. And I know if I spent money, I will credit the cash. So I always list my debit accounts first. And remember, expense accounts are always debited. So here I list my 4 expense accounts as a debit. I add that up, and the credit is to cash for $36.50. And so here's what's happening down here on my T accounts. I'm decreasing my cash. It shows that I'm increasing my expenses, but remember, expenses subtract from equity. So really, these are negatives down here. Okay, so this is transaction E, where I spent money. Okay, next we're going to look at transaction F. I paid creditors on account $9.50. Right away, identify, did you spend money or get it? I spent money. Look at your rules. If you spend money, you credit the cash. So what did I pay for? I paid people I owe. So the debit is to accounts payable. Here it is right here. So here's the journal entry. And I decreased my cash, and I decreased what I owe to people. Next is transaction G. This is my supplies account. This is the hardest transaction. So if you remember correctly, that we had $550 worth of supplies left at the end of the month, but I started at $13.50. And if I have $5.50 left, the amount I used was the difference. So the amount used is the account you actually want to use. So 800 are used. Those are the supplies expense. Remember, debit expenses only, credit supplies. So here's what's happening. I'm decreasing the amount of supplies I had, but I'm increasing my expense. But this is a negative number, which will subtract from my equity. Okay, so next we're going to do our last transaction, where I actually pay dividends of $2,000. I spent money. Right away, we credit the cash. Okay, well, what did I pay for? I paid for dividends, which are debit. If you remember back to your rules of debit and credit, I only debit a dividend. I will never credit a dividend for right now.